Good morning. Welcome to HRTX Virtual. I am so excited to be here with everybody. This is something I'm just going to be honest. You know, when Ryan said that we were going to do this, I was like, dude, you are crazy. Like this is nuts. That we're going to go live. This is going to be something that has never been done before. Working on real Rex. Ryan, I got to tell you, I am super excited that you have paired me with these two individuals, Vanessa Raath, over the past 2 weeks. Vanessa has helped push me as a recruiter in so many different directions. Like, Vanessa, our first conversation was about recruiting over Twitter, and everybody knows that I am scared to tweet. About Twitter, one thing that I would say before I get to introductions is that I did just put out on my Twitter handle, it's the Brian Fink. I just put out a link for Aaron Lintz's daughter. If you're not familiar with Aaron Lintz, he's a great voice in the sourcing community. His daughter has a rare condition where nutrition cannot pass through her stomach. There's a pseudo obstruction, and they are asking for donations. They are about $3,000 away from their goal. I would love it if we could get there today. If anybody wants to chip in, $5 for the 600 people that we have live, that would be $3,000. That would carry us to our goal. That would be great, and that would show some great community, because community is really what we are all about. Now, I'm going to stop yelling about community, and I'm going to start yelling about Rex. This is going to be an awesome day, a great afternoon. Again, I'm so glad that Ryan and great people could put us all together. Speaking of putting us together, I am joined by Vanessa Raath from South Africa. Vanessa is a world-renowned recruiter and researcher. Like I suggested, one of the things that Vanessa has helped me to get out of my comfort zone about is working on Twitter, which I'm very scared of Twitter. I don't know why I'm so afraid of it, because I love Instagram, but I'm afraid of Twitter. But more importantly than that, Vanessa is also one of the leading voices in diversity and inclusion recruiting. She's been very instrumental in, and maybe you saw her at SourceCon, maybe you've heard her speak at SOSU. These are different engagements that she's really brought together for the community. Speaking of the community, I got to point to Ronnie Bratcher, because Ronnie Bratcher is the guy who brought me into all of this. If you don't like what you hear today, it's his fault. I blame him. Is that Ronnie 7 years ago said, Brian, you should be presenting on this thing Slack. And from there, I have gone on to do so. So I am indebted to Ronnie. About Ronnie, what I think you should know, besides the fact that he is an avid Pearl Jam fan, and I thought that we should play some Pearl Jam this morning, but I apparently don't have the internet streaming rights to that. Thanks, Pandora. Which we may or may not be using Pandora later to source. Who knows? But Ronnie Bratcher is a senior sourcer. He is currently engaged with, Ronnie, can I say who you're engaged with?
Yeah, Village MD. Yep.
Village MD. Okay, so he's currently engaged with Village MD. If you have a question about a search engine, and if Google just ain't doing it for you, you're going to want to talk to Ronnie, because Ronnie is your guy when it comes to Swiss cows, eTools, my favorite DuckDuckGo. Ronnie, Vanessa, what else would you like to add before we get into this madness?
Sure, Brian, that's such a hard act to follow, my friend. I love the enthusiasm. We can tell that you guys are in the morning, and it's just before 6 o'clock at night here, and I'm delaying my glass of wine to be sharp, to keep up with you two gentlemen. But all I want to say is that, especially shout out to Ronnie. We brought him in last minute because we know that he's such an awesome sourcer. We were given 2 incredibly difficult recs. I don't know if it's because we were first. I don't know if Ryan's got a personal vendetta. I don't know what it's all about. But I've thoroughly enjoyed the last 2 weeks of working with you gentlemen, with the 2 ladies whose recs that we're working on, Rhonda and Casey. More about them a little bit later. Awesome. So just thanks for the opportunity, guys, and thanks to great people for the sponsorship.
All right,
Ronnie, over to you.
Yeah, so we're going to kick off in just a minute. Before we do, guys, this is the T-shirt for HRTX, so it's pretty badass. I like it.
Do they deliver to South Africa?
We will ship to South Africa for you. Yeah. We missed the first shipment day, but we will definitely get it for you. But this is sponsored by Seek Out. There is a back to the shirt, but this is just the front, so that's pretty cool. if you guys want the shirt, Seekout is offering the shirt out to everybody on the call. So that's the address, seekout.io/HRTX. There's a demo attached to that. So once you go through the demo, you'll get that shirt. Excuse me. And also, when you get your emails, that link will be there. So if you don't get it right now, totally fine. We will get that to you. So Brian, I'm going to pass over presenter control to you right now.
Okay. All right. Let me shut down the Instagram, because everybody knows that I'm on Instagram right now. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
I'm sharing.
As long
I'm
as
going
you've
to
had
share
it
screens
taken a
out to you
screenshot.
now.
Right. As long as there's nothing object. Actually, you will be shocked. The first thing that has come up on my Instagram really is a picture of William Tencup.
Oh, it's
I
fortuitous.
Yeah. How do I share the screen? Am I sharing the screen?
Yeah, you did. We can see your Slack channel.
Okay.
Several of them. I think you're sharing the wrong screen, my friend.
Okay. Here comes a hammer.
Okay. Don't read, anyone. Don't read.
All right. Let me get rid of Slack. There's going to be lots of conversations with Batman, I'm sure. There's my calendar. That's all gone. Let's go ahead and bring this over, and we will get the party started with Mr. Tencup.
So while you're doing that, can I start introducing our first rec that we were working on?
Yeah. What rec are we jamming on here? What are we getting started
let's start
on?
with Senior Digital Signals Processing Engineer.
Okay. Awesome.
So this came from a lovely lady called Casey. So when we got the recs, we set up meetings with them last Friday afternoon, and we had a good half an hour conversation with both of the ladies whose recs we're working on. Rhonda, yours is coming up in half an hour. So just a little bit about this role, because I always find it super interesting to learn more about the role. Basically, what a digital signals processing engineer does is they pick up signals and assess threats using for things like electronic warfare, signals coming from the environment. So it's a very much a military role based out in Virginia, and I've learned a lot about it because I'm not even too sure whether South Africa has an army. I've learned to learn about clearances, military, secrets, very high level stuff. So I have found this one absolutely fascinating. So Brian, let's you put the should I say the role description up on the screen, which is great. Something I've never heard of.
Yeah, so this is a bit of a different role. Digital signals processing engineer, as Vanessa suggested, and as Ronnie knows, we don't really work in the engineering space, particularly for defense contractors. So this is a little different. This is a little nuanced. Typically, when I start with a requisition, I look at the keywords and I look at the words that I don't understand first. The first word that I don't understand here is digital signals processing engineer. I don't understand what that is. I don't know what it does.
So we got stuck on the title.
Yeah, so we got stuck on the title. One of the things that I did immediately with this is I went out to another website called Indeed, Indeed.com. So on Indeed, what I did is I put into the search bar digital signal processing to see who could come back with any companies or any other explanations as to what this was involved in. Because the job description, and I know this is a different company, L3 Harris Technologies is a different company, but one of the things that it tells me about is that this is used in advanced electronic warfare. It let me know that I was on the right path, because this is also something that Casey had shared with us. Also in the job description, one of the things that jumped out at me was the degrees that this person was going to be responsible for, or that they would have achieved. So electrical engineering, or computer science. Also needed to notice that they were working with a background in Linux. And then there's this ex-Midas thing.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
This was our Achilles heel. This was our kryptonite.
Right. So ex-Midas, if you were to go out to, we're just going to go out to linkedin.com for a second, and I'm going to type in, and if anybody's wondering, the extension that I was using that you saw that just popped up is momentum. I use it to make sure that my sourcing sprints aren't too elaborate. I am going to put in, wait a minute. Okay, LinkedIn, you're going to do what you want to do because this is your show and apparently I'm just a part of it. Give me 1 second. LinkedIn is coming up. Okay, I'm going to put X Midas.
So this was one of the non-negotiables. So this person had to
Yeah,
have X Midas, which was why it was something that really befuddled a lot of us, all three of us, should I say.
yeah. So the thing about X Midas is that X Midas shows up in about 184 results, but our client is looking for this individual to be in the Washington, D.C. metro area. So if you think about that and you scope it down to Washington, D.C., we're left with about
Yeah.
70 people that have this, right? So, but that's 70 people, which really is funny because Ronnie and I, when we were doing this search, when we put in Python and Linux and all the other requirements or other variables that we were looking for, we came up with not one, not two, wait, there's my camera, not two, but three people who had everything that we were looking for. So,
Because that wasn't the only non-negotiable. It was X Midas as well as the radio frequencies, which was
right.
required for the role, which was throwing us, and the developer skills. So there's so many different facets to this role.
Right. And one of the places though that I went over the weekend to read about this role was I go to Medium, and there was an article that was written in 2018 that was about how to break down the job description for the signal processing engineer. I thought this was great. This certainly gave me a lot more to go on because what this was able to do is it was able to show me different words, other keywords that were not in the job description so that I could really break down the job description and really understand with what types of challenges these signal process engineers deal with. And math tools, let's go back to math tools just for a second. MATLAB and Octave are those types of math tools that people are going to use regularly and routinely in this role. So we've got Python, Java, XMidas, MATLAB, Octave. We've got a whole host of words that we can kind of jump into here. Ronnie, I'm going to pass the baton to you for a quick second and ask you, what was your thought process? What did you start taking in on this role?
Yeah, so ditto to everything you said. I want to go back to Indeed. Indeed is, or any other tool that you have, when you're looking at these job descriptions, I would suggest scrape 10 of them, copy and paste, put them in a Word doc or a notepad, and use a word cloud and generate a word cloud, and you'll get the words that are generated through all these different companies and people. If you also have access to Indeed for resumes, start looking for resumes and put those in a word cloud, and you'll get a keyword generation so you can start seeing what is most talked about in this particular space. So that's how I would approach it with the Indeed piece as well. I want to also say, just as we progress in my searches, I kind of eliminated X Midas because I don't think a lot of people are going to be putting that on their resume. It's an older technology. So my thought process for a recruiter is to, if they meet most of the criteria, is to go ahead and reach out to them and ask that question, and that'll eliminate. So
just to interrupt you there, what I thought was really good, that Ronnie and Brian figured out that the tool actually dates back to 2007. So, that for me also, someone might not necessarily have it on an up-to-date CV. So good point, Ronnie.
Well, actually, about the CVs, one of the areas that I went into to look for the CVs is I went to, and Vanessa can't use this. Wait, hold on. No, Casey can't use this. Vanessa can use this.
Yeah, for a change, the South African could access the site.
Yeah, there's a website that is called WikiLeaks. I think everybody may be familiar with WikiLeaks and some of the nefarious publication of government secrets. But one of the other things there is that there's a website that is hosted or there is a search component that is hosted on WikiLeaks. And I thought that maybe we should start with IC Watch because we might be looking for somebody that has government clearance. We were told by Casey that they didn't necessarily have to have government clearance for the role, but but they had to be a US citizen so that they could get that clearance. So with that, what I did is I went out and said that I wanted to look in specifically for Ex Midas through these individuals that had been listed or put together, and see when they were talking about Ex Midas. And it goes back to 2015 with Jonathan Lauge and his using of Ex Midas, Kurt Lassler. It shows that he's in the Washington, D.C. area. Again, this is information that was pulled from 2015. These are people that are different than the search that we would have, that results that we would have gotten, or that we did get from Indeed. Indeed, I want to come back to Indeed for a quick second, because everybody hates the Indeed paywall. True or false? Everybody hates it. Everybody doesn't like paywalls. Is that one of the things that you can do? I saw a hand from Vanessa. Vanessa gave me a hand that she hates paywalls. Is that one of the things that you can
Absolutely,
do?
especially when they're dollar based.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. One of the things that you can do is that you can look for the data source, and we could jump into Indeed. And there we go. We're in Indeed, and we're looking at resumes that have come back from 2010,
And that's some good
2015.
results. I mean, it was 40 resumes. That's amazing.
Right.
For free.
So yeah, all free. My favorite four-letter word that begins with an F is free, followed by
Yeah.
Fink. Yeah, so this is an instance where we're able to find that this person does live in Virginia, so they're close to the desired location. We could have done the location as well. Georgetown, Columbia, Maryland, Edgewater, Maryland, Centerville, Potomac Falls, Show More, and really dug in and found this engineer, or these engineers that have, and that's another keyword that I discovered, was DSP, using digital signal processing as an acronym. So I was able to also take that acronym and go back to just an open search engine like DuckDuckGo or Bing, and be able to type in DSP to find that. Now, also one of the other areas that I went into was because, again, I was trying to find this knowledge about what DSP is, like how this works. And the job description is, when I don't understand something, there are two places that I go to find out more details. The first of which is this wild and crazy website that's called Amazon.com. Now, guys, I may or may not work for Amazon. This is not a plug for Amazon, okay? What it does is, if I type in, and as you can see, I was looking at The Boys. I was watching that show earlier this morning. Is I type in DSP, or digital signal processing,
Processing.
and it brings me up a flurry of books about digital signal processing. And from this, I have the authors of the books. And if I have the author of the book, I can find the author. I might be able to find the author's page and reach out to the author directly about the resource. Here, we also have one review of the book. Where's the review of the book? We're getting down to it. This is a heavy book. It weighs 1.9 pounds.
Not one to be reading in bed at night, right?
Yeah, so it does in great detail DSP explanation, however, not for the casual person just getting a head start on learning. Unfortunately, this Amazon customer did not use their name in the review, or we might have generated an additional name of someone who had read the book other than the authors of the book. So we've got Zhezhen Yu, Jingyin Li, Zhuan Zhang, and we could take that information and then put it into a search engine to be able to find that individual, or the individuals that have written the book, and reach out to them about who they know in the field that maybe we should be talking to that's an expert or maybe one of their previous students.
Interesting. I actually I had the same thought process, but I went and did it through Goodreads, and loads of books on Goodreads about, you know, the digital signal processing. Also went and had a look at the people who had left the reviews. And the nice thing on Goodreads is that people will leave a review, and you'll also have a picture, an icon, their standard profile picture. So by running a simple like Google image search, I managed to track down a couple of people by using my starting point as Goodreads. But hats off to Brian, who had the idea of looking at Amazon first. I just thought I'd go and look at Goodreads as opposed to Amazon just to see the difference.
So one of the other things that we're talking about here, Van, you know, we're talking about looking at places like Goodreads or looking at places like Amazon. There's another and Medium. So we've talked about 3 publishing platforms where people can find information about this and they can find authors. One of the other areas that I like to go to is going to scribd.com. Does anybody ever, I'm sorry, I'm so used to teaching live that I'm asking the crowd to tell me if they've been to scribd.com. But if
I'll
you
be
go
the
to,
crowd. I'll answer. I've heard of it.
awesome. Okay, so scribd.com is a website that allows you to go through and look at PDFs and documents. They just acquired LinkedIn's, oh, help me out here. LinkedIn owned, okay, so this is what happens throughout the day, right? We blank on things. Ronnie,
Don't worry,
Vanessa,
come to you the next few seconds. What are
yeah,
they about? Their learning platform, their lynda.com. I don't know. I haven't actually seen that.
no, not Linda. It's slideshare.net.
Okay, SlideShare. Okay, brilliant.
So if we go to slideshare.net and we type in digital signal processing, it brings us back. And I'm just looking at this right here. I want to jump into Arif Hussein's SlideShare presentation. It goes in and it shows us the SlideShare presentation of individuals, what they were working on, where we can find them, things of that nature. We can get a little bit more, creative and narrow it down to looking for people in specific areas. But this gives us an opportunity to read through their PowerPoint. And one of the reasons that I like PowerPoint presentations is that sometimes people put contact information on PowerPoint presentations.
Yep, on the last slide.
Yeah, so let's go to the last slide and see what we got going on here. Questions? Have a nice day. A bibliography. Ooh, a bibliography.
Ooh.
We have other places to go and look at. Slideshare.net Signal Processing Part 1 presentation.
Nice.
And Elena is in the UK. Excellent. But again, this information is published in 2009. There haven't been a lot of people that have gone to this slide and clipped the information. So we're just generating names at this point, people that we can reach out to and say, you know, I'm interested in this field. I'm currently working in this area. Who do you know that I might be able to have a conversation with? And that's another thing. I think that recruiters are afraid to ask that question, who do you know? I have always found that if I send an email to somebody and I put in the subject line advice immediately, no other funny little things, advice, and the second thing that I say after their name is, I need your advice, period. Would you be willing to talk to me about X, Y, and Z?
I think we've got to appeal to people's good side and, you know, assume that everyone is good and is willing to offer assistance. And I think that all that we've done so far, you know, is coming up with really good names of people who've written books and those kind of things. Is I would definitely reach out to those people because those are obviously the subject matter experts in the field. So that's a phenomenal starting point.
Right. Okay. So about that starting point, I want to change gears again and say, Van, Ronnie, I don't want to hog this thing. Like,
I just
I'm
want to
having fun. I'm just
mention
going raw. I'm just.
I want to mention one site that I found, and then I'm going to hand over to Ronnie, because this site was definitely your gentleman's speciality. So, Brian, if you can navigate us to dsprelated.com. So what
DSP
I did was,
related?
yeah, dsprelated.com. So I stumbled across the site because I was actually doing some research on this X Midas and where it is and who uses it. And pretty much this is a whole site all around digital signal processing. So as you can see, you can dig into, there's jobs. So you could again look and see who's hiring in the space, tutorials, books, free books, etc., etc. What I really liked was the forums, because on the forums, I actually discovered a discussion about X Midas, and people were having a backwards and forwards conversation about how easy is it to learn this tool, where do you go about learning it, etc., etc. So that was the first thing. I learned a lot just about DSP by going to this site. But if you just stop there and scroll up again, look what I found on the right-hand side. There's a DSP conference coming up this month. And if you click on there and go to that website, go to the speakers page, you've got about 20 speakers who are going to be presenting about different aspects in the DSP space at this online conference.
Where's the link to the conference again?
On the right-hand side, the big block, it says DSP Online Conference on the advert.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
That
looking
big
up at the
blue thing in
top.
front of you, Brian. So that's what I found. And if you go there, you get a link to all of the speakers. And this is a really good up-to-date list. People who are on top of their game in the DSP space who I would definitely think about reaching out to. And it's a US-based conference.
So I'm just wondering, Vanessa, did you try to Google image search any of these people?
It was going to be my next step, but I also, if you've got name and surname, I was actually just going to probably zap the info and feed it into LinkedIn and see what came up. Either way.
Okay, cool. All right, I just was thinking out loud about that.
No, but that's cool. Either or I would have done. But yeah, it was really interesting because not only did I manage to learn more about X Midas and DSP, this was just such a great find, this site, and it was all found through a Google search just around X Midas. But Ronnie, you had some more good ideas around this role that I want you to share with everyone.
Yeah, so I did a simple search on X Midas, just searched it, right? And when I did that, I came across two companies, pretty simple. That one of them does military work using X Midas and DSP, and then the other is a consulting firm that does work in X Media. So then I just went and plugged their company name into LinkedIn and looked at their company profile, and then showed me the people that are on LinkedIn, their employees. I did a brief search and I saw a few DSP engineers. It was as simple as that. It was just like nothing hard, just a simple search, and I was able to find two companies listing all the things of people and engineers. I think there was like 160 people on each company, pretty small, so it was pretty fast research. So I really thought that was kind of cool as well. So
awesome.
I didn't know if you want me to go into any other things.
Yeah, go for it, Ronnie.
I've tried. I don't know, and then when I did the site commands on Bing and Google for DSP engineers and X Midas, it didn't really result much. I got better results just going on LinkedIn page and just doing a regular search. I got more results that way, but it didn't really much. So I really wanted just to get off of that and kind of just do more natural language search. And I think you can see a couple of things. It started with Google, and I just kind of put in simple stuff like resume, DSP engineer, radio, minus jobs, minus it. And I actually got some results there as well. I did some file type searches. I found a couple of resumes there of some DSP engineers. I took out the X Midas, like I said. I just wanted to get a general, see if they're, have most of the keywords. And then if they're got most, I would say, hey, recruiter, you might want to just reach out to them and talk to them about it. IC Watch came up as well. When I put in just simple searches, I am a DSP engineer, that's all I put. I found all these articles of people saying, I'm a DSP engineer. And we're just talking
There's always something I forget to do. That's awesome.
So yeah, it's pretty simple. And then I did some Bing searches. I actually went to my favorite tool, the other search engine e-tools, and did a search there as well. Turn Google off. So always turn Google off on the preferences, and just did a file type there, and came up a lot of stuff as well. And I threw another search engine, Oscobo, found some resumes there as well. And then something I taught at the last 2 conferences was looking for different domains. Like I did some site commands on like .cc. So I'm looking for a communications engineer. I found lots of resumes with people having DSP there. So don't always look at the .com. Go look at other things as well. I'll turn it back over to you guys as well.
Excellent.
Hey guys, before we jump to the next rec, we do have a couple of questions that come in. So I know we got about 3 minutes before we got to jump to the next one. So
Sure.
we'll spitfire and go quick on that. Ashley, as I'm going through these questions, can you drop the poll in for Great People? So Great People has the virtual recruiting events for recruitment, scheduling, video, the whole 9. So they're offering, I could be wrong, I think it's 60 days free or something similar to that. But basically, for those that are here today, if you want it, click it, let us know yes or no, and they're going to give it to you to check out and try, which is pretty cool. So as we're going through that, guys, Ronnie, how do you turn Google off?
On eTools, there's a setting that says preferences, and it brings you up to it shows you all the preferences, like turn off safe mode, things like that. And then it shows all the search engines that it does search. So there you can just click off Google, turn it off, and then it will search the other 14 search engines, and you can rank them by importance. You can say they're normal or high importance. So like it does, search Yandex, and it searches Yahoo, searches Bing, things like that. So you're getting a meta search engine in one thing. So in the preferences, you can turn off Google. Google's
Awesome.
evil.
Okay, Google's evil. Is that what you said? Google's evil?
Nah, they're not evil. They're just demanding.
They're just not nice. Okay, so ZapInfo recently purchased by Indeed, or acquired by Indeed. So now that will not work on LinkedIn, we do have a few questions around what can they use instead of ZapInfo, in place of ZapInfo?
Data miner?
Yeah.
Yep, data miner would be a good option.
Okay. And
And
quick answer to
wait,
this
wait,
one.
wait, real quick about the data miner comment that you're making there, Vanessa, is he is not on this broadcast, but the gentleman's name is Greg Hawks. Greg Hawks does great videos on YouTube about how to use data miner, or you might want to reach out to Jim Schneider. Those are the 2 people I would go to for a data miner conversation.
For sure. Good mention on Greg. So actually we'll let's see if we get Greg on. That'd be pretty cool. Greg's pretty good there.
Hey, the more the merrier.
So real quick, all the searches that are on the screen, yes, you will get those. So we will gather those and get those, so you don't have to write them down in screenshot. So definitely we will get that and everything else that was mentioned. And I believe we had, let me check time. We can do one more here. We will share social handles for everybody, so you'll have contact info. This one, I'm not sure if you guys can answer it. I don't know. I'm just going to read it as it came in. How do you set up a keyword generator? Is that something you guys maybe mentioned?
So we did not, but Holly Levelek, am I pronouncing Holly's last name correctly?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would pronounce it like that.
Okay, so
Holly?
so Holly showed me something that's called keywordshitter.com.
Okay.
And if you go to, and that does not count as me saying one dirty word. That is just right. If you go to it, what it will do is it will generate keywords for you predicated on some of the search criteria that you put in. So it'll kick up a bunch of synonyms for you. It's a great tool. I've been using it since 2019.
It picks up all the false positives. So if you're looking for, like, for example, me, I don't mind if someone calls themselves a full stack engineer if they live in somewhere in Africa, because I don't mind about their spelling. I'm looking for the false positive of their job title. People do make mistakes.
Yep. All right, good. So let's transition into, you guys had another rec, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. let's do a quick overview there and jump right in. I'm gonna shut myself off so
Cool.
you can
Hey,
focus on.
real quick, thanks Casey
Go for
for
it.
putting that rec out there. We had a lot of fun with it. Thank you. You're
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And we
Oh,
hope
good.
we
Good,
helped
no,
you.
good point. So Casey, you will get all of this stuff bundled up. We'll package. Just give us a day or so. We'll bundle it up and we'll get it out to you as well. And any candidates that were found or anything like that, we will pass that over. And I'm going to volunteer Brian's time. He's available from like 8 to 2 p.m. every day. So with that, I'm going to turn my mic off and let you guys get to the second rec.
Cool.
Awesome.
Excellent. So first of all, as you can see, the sun has now gone down in South Africa. So I'm dealing with some dodgy lighting. I'm feeling a little bit Blair Witch Project, but bear with me. Our second rec, guys, was a senior high throughput biologist or engineer. So in a nutshell, without giving away too many trade secrets, this was from the lovely Rhonda. And chatting with Rhonda was actually fascinating. What this company is doing, they're based in northern San Francisco, is they're taking brain cells and olfactory cells, which is your sense of smell, out of mice, and they are looking to put these into robots, and the robots then either work in security, like say, for example, at an airport, sniffing out explosives and bags, but the new idea is to try and get it to sniff out diseases like COVID, for example. So really, really interesting role that we've been working on for this one. I'm very lucky in the fact that I'm married to one of these PhD scientists, so he has given me a lot of help and guidance on this role. So, gents, who of you wants to start with where you started?
I've got where I started on the screen. Is I
Okay,
started.
brilliant.
Okay, so one of the things that Rhonda was able to point out to us is that this person is going to have a background in cellular biology. So I'm looking for a cell biologist or a biotechnologist who has experience in mammalian and lives in California and has a PhD. She did stress to us that it was important that they would reload this person, but the preferred location was in California. And also it's required that this person have a PhD in cellular biology.
Or microbiology or
Or
biotech or,
microbiology, yes.
you know, it's quite a wide life sciences, I think, is what I kind of latched onto with this one. So let me talk you through kind of how I started with this one. Was actually, and this is a tool that I learned from Ronnie. I'm not too sure where I learned it, but he introduced me to face search. So I don't know if you remember on Google, you used to be able to run a search and then choose the options and choose faces, and that suddenly disappeared. Now it's a really useful search trick or tool that I use when I'm training, especially in South Africa, when we are trying to tick diversity boxes. But the website for this, if we can just go there, Brian, if you don't mind, is face search. But in the search, the E and the A are swapped around. So it's a fantastic search. And what I did there was I just put in the standard search string, which Brian's put on the board, up on the screen for us, should I say. You see, I'm back in the classroom, up on the board. And why I actually love this, yeah, perfect, the top one. So if you can just pop that Boolean string into there or something like that, is I don't only use it to find people, because what this comes up with is, a lot of websites people say, like, meet the team, and this is where their faces appear. But it also gives me some really good ideas about where I can go and look for candidates, some websites that maybe I'm not aware of or something like that. So let's just have a look at the results that pop up.
All right, I'm
Yo,
pulling up the search string
that's
real
fine.
quick.
If I
So
can
what I
interrupt,
discovered here, yeah, go for it,
Vanessa,
Ronnie.
one thing I do on face search is I eliminate LinkedIn because
Okay, so do you minus
Google,
it?
yeah, minus
Yeah,
site LinkedIn.com, just because Google loves pulling LinkedIn profiles, and you're probably already searching LinkedIn, so we've already been down that path. So eliminate the LinkedIn search by site.
awesome.
Just a good point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that.
All right, so
So
you're suggesting, Ronnie, that I type in minus site command linkedin.com.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, let's run the search. So also, what we could, and you can add to the search now that you're actually in Google. So we could put in there, if you don't mind, you can see the face option actually pops up now on the Google search itself. But you could also put in California PhD for me as well into the search, please, Brian.
Okay, CA or California.
Yep, perfect. I must admit, more than once I had to pull up Google Maps to just figure out which town was where for these searches.
Oh wow, look at
And
this
there we
young lady. Look
go.
at this guy.
So what I came up with there was two really good sites that I want to chat to you about. One of them is a site called enago.com, which if we can just enago.com.
Knocker.
And this was a fascinating site because it's a manuscript publisher, enago.com.
Hold on, give that to me again.
enago.com.
ENAGU.
ago.com. Yeah, .com. No R.
Okay, no R. Inago. Okay,
Enago.com.
okay. Editing manuscripts. Am I in the right place?
Yep, yeah, that's it. So what these guys do is that they are manuscript publisher for international journals. So you'll find a list. If you go and dig around on the site, you'll be able to navigate to people who have PhDs or have master's qualifications, and they are the editors for Enago. So if you think about it, they must be editing manuscripts like left, right, and center all over the world. It's for international publications. They will know who is going to be the subject matter expert in the mammalian cell tissue space and who has a PhD.
Whoa,
How cool is that?
this is awesome.
Uh, and then the second site that I found from there, if you want to navigate there as well, is Colab Tree. So let me spell that for you, Brian, and thank you for navigating all of this for me. Kola.
KOLA.
Yeah, KOLA B, and then the word tree.com. And what this is it's a platform to where you can hire freelance scientists and researchers from all over the world, actually. So you can go and find people who potentially, would know people, have studied with people, might be interested themselves.
Oh, olfactory.
Yeah, or the cellular was good. I think that I did that cellular one or mammalian, and I came up with some good names. And then you can sort it by it's got a double M. There we go. Perfect. Mammalian cell culture, it popped up there. And then you can find the people who've put themselves on this site as freelancers, but you never know, freelancers might be looking for permanent people on this site. And there we go.
Wow.
And you can change it by country and areas. And yeah, so you can guess who I'd found this quite late last night, who told their husband straight away this morning about this site. And that was for me all through Face Search. So again, back to Ronnie, thank you for showing me Face Search. I love it because it shows me other places that I don't know about, and I discover loads of new websites. So this whole convoluted story all started from a Face Search.
Wow.
Pretty cool, hey?
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, this is
So,
incredible.
so gents, do you want to talk us through anything that you did? I have got one more idea, which was the kind of like the obvious one, which we started with, which was your Google Scholars, and Brian introduced me to JSTOR, ResearchGate, those kind of places.
Well, one of the places that I thought to go out and look for these documents is I thought about going out to Exelead. I don't know how many people still use exelead.com/search. And typing in olfactory. I'm going to type in the file type command.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to say that I'm looking for a PDF. And I am looking for somebody who wrote their thesis or dissertation in cellular biology.
Nice.
Or mammalian.
So,
All right, let's see what we got. Okay, I got some programs. I've got a CV. I've got a master thesis and a doctoral dissertation. And this person comes with the PhD. So I went on the PhD piece of it, and I didn't have to use it as a search term. And I'm going to go to the CV. Please be a good CV. A
wow, this
Marti.
is pretty cool.
I've got a Marti, Anna Marti Sebarana, and I have her master's, I have her PhD, I have her master's of science. She meets that requirement. I think there was also something about them having 8 years worth of experience. So we know that she received her PhD in 1983. Mr. Kraus in the house. Oh, he's gone. All right. I give people a shout
For a
out and they
split
leave
second.
me. So we've
Don't take it
got
personally.
we've got that. But one of the things that we want to look here is intercellular junctions, gaps, identified neural development, the location of neurons, dealing with the mammalian hypothalamus. I don't know what a hypothalamus is. What is a hypothalamus?
Oh no, you're asking the wrong person. That it wasn't one of our requirements. I don't remember reading it or doing any research on it.
No. But I was wondering if it's part of like it is. Oh, I was wondering if it was part of our part of the nose, part of the ability to smell, because it's involved in memory and processes and the anatomical nervous system structure. So I wasn't sure, but I've got her CV. I know what she's taken. I know what she's taught. Yeah, that's me using Xlead. I like to use Xlead to find file types. I mean, you can use Google, you can use Bing, you can use DuckDuckGo and eTools, but this is my favorite one for finding different file types. I think it works the best.
Cool, interesting. That's something new that I've learned. Thanks, Brian.
You got it.
Cool. Ronnie, what did you do with this one?
So I didn't get around to doing too much on it because it's not my area of expertise. But one thing I did, I went to Google, of course, and I put in. I wanted to site command the domain education, so edu.
Ooh, interesting.
So I have the notes in there, Brian, if you want to pull it up. It's the second one. So I did a Google search. I put in, cell biologist or biotechnologist, mammalian, and I put in resume or CV, and then I site commanded the edu, and I put PhD at the end, and I took out minus job. And when I did that, of course, you're probably going to come up with some faculty and people like that, but most people at this level, the PhD, they always keep their email address from the schools and
For the
use that.
EDU.
Yeah. So I saw lots of people there.
So edu is in the email domain.
Right, and or school, and or their school. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So people at the PhD level usually keep in touch with their schools and things like that, and use that to post their CVs and resumes. So I felt like I saw a lot of people there, and I also did I am a cell biologist or biotechnologist, did that as well, and came up with some people talking about in journals and things like that, talking about themselves and things like that. So those two was pretty cool for me. I did try my eTools thing. It didn't give me a whole lot, but it gave me some other areas, like Van said, that go into other places that I didn't know about. So it led me down some different paths and things like that. And I just did
holes.
Yeah, the rabbit holes. And then I just, the only other thing I did was I just did a direct LinkedIn search just to do some research, and there was, some people on LinkedIn as well. So I didn't, do anything fancy. So I didn't really get as deep in the weeds as Van did. She sounds like the specialist in this one, but those are the.
Well, I had a little bit of help close to home. When you're both sitting at home working across the passageway from each other in lockdown, it's easier just to shout out, "Hey, babe, what about this? What's this? What does this mean?" I think he's a bit over it.
Yeah, so that definitely was not down my expertise. If I had a week or two of this, I could probably do some pretty heavy do some sourcing and get some more education out of it. But yeah, definitely challenging. And I love what you guys did too as well. So yeah.
Just one more thing that I want to add in there, and I know that they're sponsors for tomorrow's day is Seekout. I love Seekout. I really am a massive fan of their tool, and I found a lot of. I think my final results after redefining my search and adding things in, taking things out, was about 48 results. So, and that was purely in the San Francisco Bay greater area after sitting on Google Maps and Googling where certain towns were in California. But I must say that also, returned some really great results. But the winner for me here on the day was the face search to discover the other sites, to then go and explore them. So that Inago and that collab tree for me were just great.
That's awesome.
Bird.
Cool.
Got some time for questions. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this has been good, fast moving. Let's go with 3 questions. I'm going to share my screen because people are asking about this t-shirt. Everybody wants a t-shirt, right? Say t-shirt, they want a t-shirt. If I offered my coffee mug, which is, I guess, my version of Olaf,
Special.
they don't want it. They just want the damn t-shirt. So I'm going to put that slide up. So I'm going to take, so they can get the URL as we are doing this. And then first question, why did you use Exalead?
So I have been using Exalead for about a decade or more to look at documents. I feel that it's the most robust search engine specifically for documents. You can use Google, you can use Bing, you can use DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is my second favorite search engine behind Google.
Okay.
But I just personal preference. Just I've been using it for so long. That's why I used it.
Okay. Do we have, Ronnie, this is probably for you. Do we have a cheat sheet with all of the different search engines and the Boolean search rules? I know there's an old school one from Job Machine, right? Which Shelly will be
Yeah.
on later. I don't even know if people remember what Job Machine was. You'd have to be an OG there. But
Hey, hey Ryan, I'm going to interrupt Ronnie for a quick second. There's a slide that I did on that I do on most of my presentations that are about advanced Google operators, about Google
Okay.
dorks. I can send that over to you, and you can spread it out. But sorry, Ronnie, please continue
Yeah,
about.
send that over. We'll gather that up in there as well.
Yeah, so I still have that sheet, the Job Machine sheet, in my archive files.
In your
I
Okay,
love
look,
that.
I'm
I
obviously
remember that
younger
back in
than
the day.
everyone here because I've never heard of Job Machine.
Neither
I
have I.
remember I
It's-
paid $19.99 for that back in
Yeah,
like
I did too.
2003 or 4 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I
Ah.
first met Shelly back in the old days. So
Yeah.
I
So
don't,
short answer is
I don't,
we have it.
yeah, I do not have a cheat sheet. There's just way too many search engines
Mhm.
to really kind of do that. Here's what I recommend though, is like when you do find a search engine, usually there's an about, tab and or help. I would go read that. So it's like anything else you would do. If you're driving a car and you got a new car, or if you got a power tool, probably going to read about it before you start doing something. So that's the best way to do it. There's probably some out there that are on the more popular search sites, but
Okay.
for in general, there's 37 million search engines in the world. So there's no way to do it.
Okay.
Amazing.
Oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Vanessa.
No, I was just going to say, guys, if any of you can catch one of Ronnie's presentations online, I don't know if there are any, are talking about search engines. I never realized that there were as many search engines as there are. It's absolutely fascinating.
No doubt. Okay, we have one more question that I think we can get through here. So real quick before we do that, Ashley, can you, so this is the t-shirt, guys, that everyone's asking about. This is the t-shirt. It's free to you if you go through the Seek Out demo. So there is a little catch there, but it's a cool little catch and an amazing t-shirt. There is a back end to it. Just says HRTX virtual. It's got a couple logos on there and things like that. Ashley, can you launch that poll? So if you just go ahead and say yes or no, you want the shirt, we'll help facilitate that for you. I think that is, yep, okay, cool, it's launched. So as we're doing that, This one, we have about 20 responses that say hippocampus is part of the brain. And it looks like
Well,
now
now we
someone's
know.
explaining the limbus system. And
Oh.
I don't know what any of that is. So it's part of the
Okay,
brain.
I'm gonna get my learn on later today.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Okay, so another question went back to the Zap Info question being bought and things changing. You guys have mentioned data miner. Is there anything outside of data miner that can be used? I think it may have been a little too complex for a couple people.
There's a guy that I know who is one of the HRTX educators, and they are going to be presenting today or tomorrow, and they have
Tomorrow.
yeah, and they have cooked up. I was trying to make people guess. They have cooked up they've cooked something up, and it's pretty sick.
Very cool. Right.
Yeah,
In a good way.
yeah.
All right. And so with that, we have two. Well, that's our first session. So guys, thank you so much for jumping in. We have a ton more questions, and so we'll go through that real quick. We are going to wrap up and gather everything together. Just give us a couple of days. This is all live, so there were no slides here. So we just need a few days. We'll gather it all together. We'll make it nice and pretty. We're going to get it to everybody along with the recordings. Excuse me. And everything else should be good from there. So Brian, Vanessa, Ronnie, thank you so much. Any last minute things you want to drop here before we cut you off? Oh, you're on mute. Did I mute you? Hang on. Sorry. Go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to remind everybody, if you follow me on Twitter, I dropped a link out there for Aaron Lintz's daughter, who is
Yes.
in need of your prayers, in need of some of your funds. If you could just drop $5, that would be awesome. And thank you so much for making this happen, Ryan. This has been awesome. I love collaborating with these two, and I can't wait for Eric and Michael.
Yeah, very
Thanks
cool.
I just want to say thanks for the opportunity. You guys are great. Cheers, man.
Yeah, and thanks for inviting me in last minute. So yeah, I appreciate it.
It was great to have you for sure. So